Okay, we will be starting now. Thank you everyone for joining us today for the webinar on TechSoup New Zealand program. My name is Christine Hullem and I'm the Events and Membership Coordinator at Connecting Up. Connecting Up is the organisation that runs the TechSoup New Zealand program for you. With me today we have Ryan. He will be taking you through the overview of what the program is about, what products are available for you, and also we will be taking any questions along the way. So if you do have any questions, please type them in the question box on your webinar panel and we will address them as we go along slide by slide. So we have a reasonably number of people, so we will just make this as interactive as we can and throw in as many questions as you like, and I will now pass you on to Ryan.
Great, thanks Christine. Welcome to the webinar today. The idea is just to give you a bit of an overview of the TechSoup New Zealand program. Some things you may know, some things you may not. And if anything doesn't make sense, like Christine said, just feel free to ask any questions along the way. So the first thing I wanted to just mention is who actually are Connecting Up. Christine gave a bit of a spiel just at the beginning, but a bit of information about who Connecting Up are. Connecting Up is the organisation that runs the TechSoup New Zealand program. So we are a 31-year-old not-for-profit. We're based in Adelaide in Australia. We deliver the TechSoup New Zealand program with the support of social development partners in New Zealand. And we liaise with a lot of New Zealand partners to promote the program in New Zealand. We run a similar program in Australia which used to be called DonorTech. Some of you may be aware of it. And we also run a similar program throughout the Asian region under the name of TechSoup Asia. TechSoup's a bit of a funny name. We actually get the name from our international partner TechSoup Global. TechSoup Global is a large US not-for-profit that has partners in close to 40 countries delivering programs similar to TechSoup New Zealand. So what actually is TechSoup New Zealand? Hopefully you've got some idea by now, you're in the webinar. But TechSoup New Zealand is a donations program. So technology companies such as Microsoft and Symantec, you can see all the logos there, they donate their products to New Zealand not-for-profits and charities. So the idea is that not-for-profits can spend their money on service delivery and supporting those that need their support rather than spending the money on IT equipment and upgrades. So each donor partner offers a generous amount of software per organisation, and in some case we can assist with any extras that you might need. Each donor has specific areas of giving as well, so that's why sometimes there are differences in what products different organisations might be able to get. So while it is a donations program, we do not receive any funding for this program. We keep the entire program sustainable by charging a small administration fee on each order, which generally equals about 4 to 8% of the retail price of the software. And that 4 to 8% keeps us sustainable, keeps the program running in New Zealand, and keeps our international partner TechSoup sustainable. So you can see there we have Microsoft, Symantec donate their antivirus. Calcs are an Australian company that donates their cash flow management software. Giftworks donate grant management software. We have discounted refurbished computers. Some partners can't always afford to be able to donate products, but they do offer generous discounts to not-for-profits and charities. So we have computers, Kaspersky discount, Citrix discount their webinar software that we're using today. So there's a range of different software available through the program and a range of different technology that can help your not-for-profits do what they do better. Have we got any questions? No? Cool. All right, so when you registered for the webinar, some of the questions were about what's most popular. What do organisations similar to us usually use? Basically, the Microsoft donations program is clearly our most popular donations program. Microsoft themselves have through TechSoup New Zealand have donated about roughly $30 million worth of software to New Zealand organisations. So in the case of a lot of small organisations, they will quite often take the opportunity through TechSoup New Zealand to upgrade all of their computers to the same version of Microsoft Windows and Microsoft Office, even if this is only 1 or 2 computers. You can, if you're Microsoft qualified, if you don't qualified for Microsoft donations, you can quite easily order 1 or 2 copies of Windows or Office. And I'll do a quick tour on how to order at the end of the webinar. And it's amazing just how much of a difference just having the same version of Windows and the same version of Office makes to small organisations, particularly if you have to share computers. Being able to send a file knowing that the person on the computer next to you will be able to open it without a problem and will be able to work on it straight away without any special consideration just makes life a lot easier and just minimises the amount of technology hassles that you might have. And even Windows, having the same version of Windows just means that you can switch between computers, no learning curve, no adjustment. It's a lot easier. Organisations with more computers generally order a up-to-date version of Windows Server, and they use the savings from the donation to pay contractors to properly set up their server, or to set up their office so that they can do something that they might not have been able to do before, such as remote access to their network or remote access to secure files. So the server allows organisations to share files in a common area to provide remote access to documents and programs that might be on your work desktop. And you can use things like Microsoft Exchange to host your own shared email and calendars on these servers as well. Other than that, the Semantic program is really popular, and what we see with, we have a lot of small organisations involved with TechSoup New Zealand. There are a lot of requests for Norton 360, which is Semantic's desktop antivirus solution. It's probably one of the better solutions if you're just after protection for a couple of computers. And if you need protection for more computers, there are some other solutions I'll go through in a minute.
We do have a question from Marnie in terms of how does it work with private computers? She's basically asking how do we use this software when we use our own personal laptops?
Well, we have this issue quite a bit, and it's really easy basically. If you're volunteering for an organisation or if you work for an organisation and you need to use your personal computer to do that, you're quite welcome to install the software on your personal computer. The only proviso is that the software that's donated by these organisations, by these technology companies to your organisation, remains owned by that organisation. So, Marnie, if you installed a copy of Office 2013 on your personal laptop because you needed it for work-related purposes, there's no problem with that. But the expectation is that if you move on from that role and you go to get a job somewhere else, that software will be passed back to the organisation and uninstalled from that computer so that somebody else can use that license.
What about backup software? Is there any?
There is. I'm actually going to go through antivirus and things like that in a minute, so I might just save that for a couple of slides' time if that's okay.
Is the server like Dropbox?
Well, actually, yes, kind of. In Windows Server 2012 and Office 2013, there is a new product called SkyDrive Pro. And one of the differences with SkyDrive Pro over the ordinary free version of SkyDrive that you might already be using is SkyDrive Pro allows you to set up a folder on your server that can be used basically like your own version of Dropbox, your own organisation version of Dropbox, which can be useful if you're dealing with files that you want to make sure that you retain ownership of and things like that. Okay. So one of the really cool things about the Microsoft donation program is software assurance. So if you don't know what software assurance is, software assurance basically gives you upgrade and downgrade rights to all Microsoft software you get donated through the program for 2 years. So this means that if you order a copy of Office 2013 today, you can downgrade to Office 2010 if you need to. If all the other computers in your organisation are Office 2010 and you want to be able to maintain consistency across the entire organisation, you can do that if you want. That also means that if Microsoft release a new version of Office next year, then you can go onto the Volume License Centre and download that software often before the retail release. So there's no extra donation requests to do that. There's no extra, you don't deal with us at all to get that. You can just go onto the website where you got your keys from, and all that information is in the initial email when you place your first Microsoft order, and you can just download it and you just get your new keys. So that's a really good benefit for organisations that do need to go and downgrade software for whatever reason it might be. But it also means that you know you're safe in the knowledge that you pay your administration fee for your donation, and you're not going to have to renew that software. We get a lot of requests about, do I have to renew my software? Are these subscription licenses? No, the licenses are yours. You get the software assurance for 2 years, but you can keep the software forever. So Microsoft Office 2013 is the latest version of Microsoft Office. It's more of an evolution than a revolution compared to Office 2010, and it's kind of a refinement of the new interface that Microsoft introduced in Office 2007 now. So Microsoft Office is pretty much a staple for every organisation these days. It gives you basic programs such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint and Outlook, as well as Publisher, which is great for producing newsletters and posters. Office 2013 introduces some new features to work on documents and review them as a team. And one of the great things about that is the SkyDrive Pro that I was talking about before. So if you have a Windows server, this might be a really good way of just tying all your documents together. I've actually been using Office 2013 for the last couple of weeks myself, and I just find it to be very easy to pick up if you're used to Office 2010, but I also find it to be a lot more stable, a lot faster, and a lot easier to do little things and produce better looking documents. If you are interested in ordering Office 2013, there is a standard version and there is a Professional Plus version. The standard version includes most of the programs that most organisations would need. So you get Microsoft Word, you get Excel for spreadsheets, you get PowerPoint for slides like this, Outlook for email and calendars, Publisher for newsletters like I said before, OneNote, which is a note-taking app. If you use Evernote, it's very similar to that, and of course SkyDrive Pro. Professional Plus adds Microsoft Access, which some of you may be familiar with. It's a database tool. Microsoft InfoPath, Link. So if you have a Link server for internal communications, you get the client for that, and you get Business Contact Manager for Outlook that I know some people still use and still find quite good. Microsoft Windows 8 is the latest and greatest operating system from Microsoft. I say greatest because it might take some getting used to the new design of the start menu, but Windows 8 is a lot faster than previous versions of Windows, as well as being more secure and more reliable. We've recently upgraded most of the computers in our office to Windows 8, and everybody is finding that they are significantly faster, as well as the added reliability, less crashes, and more just being able to get on with our work. And now one of the important things with Microsoft Windows is if you're one of those organizations that is still using Windows XP, now is the time that you need to upgrade. Microsoft have announced that they will be ending support for Windows XP in April next year, which means that there will be no more support patches and no more security upgrades for Windows after April next year. So now's really the time that you need to start thinking about, okay, we know that we need to upgrade. Windows 7 is still available if you don't want to take the jump to Windows 8 just yet, but you do need to start thinking about how you can upgrade and when you can upgrade. And need to start looking at whether your computers will need an upgrade at the same time.
What is the price of SkyDrive Pro as an ongoing cost, and does TechSoup manage this?
SkyDrive Pro actually connects to your internal server, so there's no actual cost to that. I believe Microsoft do have another paid version of SkyDrive that gives you more space over the free version, but that's not something that's available through TechSoup.
What about Microsoft Office 365 Exchange?
Exchange is available through the donations program, so you can obtain a donation of Microsoft Exchange and install on your own server. But at this point in time, Office 365 is not. So one of the things that you can do with your donated licenses is you can request a donation of Windows Server 2012, whichever version that you need. It might be standard, it might be data center. You can request a donation of Exchange, and you can install those on a cloud server. You don't have to own the server that you install the software on, you just have to retain ownership of the software. So you can install it on a cloud server and you can have somebody else manage that environment for you without any difficulty.
Just a few quick questions on SkyDrive and 365 as a follow-on. So can you use SkyDrive on a laptop, i.e. not a server? And this 365 question is, what does 365 do?
Okay, so Office 365, I'll take the second question first. I'll need you to repeat the other one in a sec. Office 365 is a new thing that Microsoft have just launched alongside Office 2013. And basically it's a online subscription-based version of Office. So you get a range of online tools that you can use, and you can also just download Office and you pay a monthly subscription fee instead of paying an upfront cost. There are two different kinds of Office 365. There are Office 365 for a home user, and there's Office 365 which includes things like Exchange email hosting and SharePoint in the cloud and things like that. So one of the benefits in terms of a larger organization is that all of your servers and things like that will be managed for you by Microsoft in the cloud, and you just pay a monthly fee to get access to that. But one of the things with Office 365 is that you're going to have an ongoing monthly cost associated with that. I think I actually find Office 365 is really good for personal use because you don't have that large upfront cost for a copy of Office anymore. I signed up the other day at home, and I think it was about $15 a month, I think. But when you think about it, $15 a month over the course of a year, it does actually work out more cost effective to get your donated copies of Office through the donations program. And then if you need to upgrade them in 3 or 4 years, then you can upgrade them then. Obviously you're going to get all the updates through the donations program through software assurance anyway. So we've always found that when we've looked into it for organizations, they're almost always better off getting a donated license and installing it themselves. I hope that answers that question for you. But what was the SkyDrive question?
SkyDrive can just be used on a laptop. It doesn't have to have a server and stuff like that, because it is a cloud-based, isn't it?
The free version of SkyDrive is cloud-based, so you can just use it on your laptop or wherever else. But the version of SkyDrive that attaches to your server, the SkyDrive Pro, that's slightly different. So if you just want it for your own personal use, your laptop, then just go to skydrive.com, sign up, and you get, I think it's 7 gigabytes of free space. It's really good. I think it's the most free space out of any of the cloud storage providers. But SkyDrive Pro can also be a really good way of, I'm not sure if any of you have got networks where you've got, in our case we've got the X drive, where everyone's got the X drive mapped, and that's our network storage, and we store all of our collaborative files on that server, and the server automatically backs that up for us. And so in our case, if we went down the SkyDrive Pro road, which is something that we're looking at setting up soon, then instead of dealing with the X drive, we would have our SkyDrive, and that SkyDrive would actually be accessing the server. So for us, it'd be accessing the server in a way that's much more like just dealing with files on our desktop rather than dealing with files over a network and the delays associated with that sometimes.
We'll be covering Microsoft Dynamics CRM.
Absolutely, I'll be covering that very briefly, but yes, we'll be covering that in about 2 slides' time. So if that's all the questions on Windows, we will move on to antivirus. So one of the questions that we've had from a few people is what kind of antivirus products are available, how do I renew, do I need to renew, things like that. So basically the antivirus solutions that are available through us are Symantec's desktop range, which is currently sold under the Norton brand name. Symantec's enterprise range, which includes Backup Exec and includes their endpoint protection, which is more designed for organizations that might have 10 to 50 computers. And then we have Kaspersky's discounted range, which is more designed for organizations that have anywhere from 10 to 15 computers right through to 2,500. It includes some really good tools for managing those computers, not just in terms of security, but in terms of managing the hardware and making sure everything's running smoothly. In terms of Symantec, they donate Norton 360, Norton Antivirus for Mac, a whole range of different things, and these are perpetual licenses, but they do come with yearly antivirus subscriptions. So really you need to renew them yearly. And to renew your Symantec antivirus, you just log onto the website and you order another however many licenses you need. If you ordered 5 today, in a year's time you'd go on and you'd order another 5, and that would provide you with your renewal. It also provides you with the latest version. It's really easy to do, and you can generally place 1 order per year, so it works out quite easy. In terms of the Symantec endpoint range, Backup Exec is a really good backup solution that Symantec donate. Backup Exec is primarily designed for servers to make things easier, but there are a range of different options in terms of Backup Exec. And if you are looking for a backup solution, I recommend you have a quick look into Backup Exec and what it can do, because the donation of Backup Exec is a really good deal. In terms of Kaspersky, I definitely recommend that any large organizations look at Kaspersky's endpoint solutions. We've recently just received the updated version and put them all up on the website. I've been quite impressed with some of the tools for computer management that are included in the Kaspersky range, but I definitely wouldn't recommend an organization with 1 or 2 computers consider the Kaspersky range. It really is designed for organizations with more computers than that. It also includes support for mobile devices, which is really good. And not really antivirus related, but O&O Software have just only in the last few months started donating to New Zealand organisations. They've just rolled out a big donations program all over the world. You may not have heard of O&O before. They're a European company. They donate their business suite to organisations, and they do it in packs of 5, 10, 25 and 50, I think it is. That includes some really good backup tools and some really good tools for creating disk images of hard drives so that you can restore them later on. Just a range of different utilities to keep your computers running well. So that's worth looking into as well.
There was one question about the Norton antivirus. So we can renew the antivirus once a year and we can do it through TechSoup, so the ongoing cost isn't too much?
Yep, that's exactly right. I think the ongoing cost for Norton 360 is about $10 a year, roughly, and retail it's usually about $100. So it's definitely a much better deal. The only thing with renewing the Kaspersky licenses that I didn't mention is that because they're discounted, Kaspersky actually offer a discounted renewal license, which is cheaper than buying the initial one, and they also offer a discounted cross-grade license. So if you're currently using a Kaspersky competitor, then they will offer you a discounted license to move over to their solution, which is usually easier than buying the initial licenses as well. There's something else to keep in mind. Now, how to make PDFs was something that was really popular question when you guys all signed up. Unfortunately, at this stage, Adobe aren't part of the donations program in New Zealand, but that is something that we are working on always. But in Office 2013, Microsoft unveiled a whole range of different PDF creation and editing tools. So in Office 2013, you can now save PDFs from Word documents, and you can also edit PDFs to a certain degree. So if you do need the ability to read and write PDFs, then just by upgrading to the new version of Office, you can get some basic functionality, and for a lot of organizations this would be more than sufficient for what you need to do. Now, in terms of fundraising, a lot of people asked about donor management tools, and this is where we're back to Dynamics. I want to start by talking about GiftWorks. GiftWorks is a great fundraising and donor management tool for not-for-profits. It was designed specifically for not-for-profits and designed to be easy for not-for-profits to use. And it can be used to track donors and donations, as well as including reporting and email features. So GiftWorks donate their solution to smaller organizations. So if your organization is eligible for those GiftWorks donations, then you can just log in and place your order and have a look at that software. For larger organizations that require more advanced fundraising management, Microsoft Dynamics is a CRM system or a customer or constituent relationship management system. And this can be developed into a system to track donors. You can pretty much use it to track whatever you need to track, whether that might be clients or patient records or donors or whatever it might be. The learning curve is a lot higher for Microsoft Dynamics than it is for something like GiftWorks, but there are a number of templates to do the setup for you, and there are also a number of providers who can do the setup. Just saves you the headaches, and it means that you're going to get a system that's set up for your requirements, and once it is set up, it's relatively easy to use. With Dynamics, there is a server and there is a client access license required for each user. Now, if you go onto the website, you'll find that there are a lot of different Microsoft Dynamics client access licenses available to order. The key thing is just to sit down and just have a think about what you actually require. In a lot of cases, you just need the normal client access licenses, just the plain old user or device access licenses, and they provide read-write access to your Dynamics CRM. But Microsoft also make a range of special use client access licenses available, or CALs. So for some organizations, you might need some CALs for some people who need to read from the database but not write, and they offer those kind of client access licenses. One of the other common questions we get, and not just about Dynamics but in general, is what client access license do I need? The main thing with that is that there really is not any right or wrong answer. So there are user client access licenses and there are device client access licenses. A user license licenses one user no matter how many different computers they might use. So if you have 5 users that might access your server or they might access your Dynamics from their laptop, their phone and their desktop, then rather than paying for 3 device client access licenses per user, you can pay for 1 user client access license that can then transfer across as many devices as you like for that 1 user. Whereas if you have many users that share a pool of computers, and so you might have 4 users use 1 computer at any one given point in time, then a device client access license might work out better for you. The main thing to consider is that it's a financial decision more than a legal issue or a requirements issue.
Can you probably talk a little bit more about GiftWorks, what it does and how much it costs?
The admin fee on GiftWorks is roughly $60. And GiftWorks is designed for keeping track of your donors when they donate. The email features can be used to go out to your donor database, and you might do an annual giving or an annual donation drive or something like that. You can email them all and go, this is the time of year that we really need your support, and you can get them to provide their donation through that. You can use it to track donors that may have stopped becoming donors and send them unique emails and just remind them that you're about. And of course it provides you with the reporting so that you can see where the holes in your fundraising campaigns might be, and you can use it to optimize your fundraising and try and make sure that you can keep your donors engaged with your cause.
Going back to Dynamics, you were talking about servers before. Megan's asking, what about if we're using a terminal server?
Dynamics is fully compliant with terminal server. You can install Dynamics on your server and share it amongst your users. Actually, that's a good point. We had an organisation contact us the other day who were using Dynamics in the cloud, and they didn't have any administration issues because it was all managed by the cloud provider. However, they were getting an enormous bill for only about 6 members of staff that were using it. It was costing them thousands of dollars. So they basically made the decision that it was going to be more financially viable for them to move it back and install it on their in-house server. So it's something for you to consider if you are looking at going down that road. Grants management was something else that we were asked quite a few questions about. We don't really have any specific grant management tools. However, we find that a lot of organisations use Microsoft Project to manage the implementation of grants activities. So it includes the ability to manage tasks and programs, so you can keep a track of milestones and other project management requirements, produce Gantt charts and things like that. Things that will help you later on with the reporting requirements that you might have for any of the grants that you receive. So Microsoft Project is available as a 1 PC license, and it's also available as a server client version. So you can install Project on your server, and then there are client access licenses so that you can have multiple people in a team working on the same project at once, allocate tasks out and things like that. So it's a good option for organisations that have teams working in grants that really need to manage their project requirements.
This is a question that is not relevant to the grants, but another question is a server another form of, say, a cloud?
Yes, absolutely. What the cloud basically is a large array of servers. So the cloud has become a popular term for storing documents on basically somebody else's server, and you pay them a monthly access fee, and as part of that monthly access fee they do all of the management on that server for you. So the benefit is that you don't have the upfront cost of the server, and you don't have to maintain and manage that server, but the side effect is that you do have an ongoing cost for access to that server. So yeah, a lot of people have started using cloud interchangeably for that kind of scenario, and it's possible to put any of these server-based programs on an internal server within your organisation, which is particularly useful if your organisation needs access within the office and not so much outside of the office. It means that you're always going to have access to your files, even if your internet connection goes down. But the cloud is a good way if you've got multiple offices, multiple users, and everybody can access it from the cloud. It's usually a bit faster for multiple office remote access, but it's definitely not for everyone. So do your cost-benefit analysis and have a look at things before you go ahead. One of our other most popular programs, most popular resources, is our Refurbished Computers program. So we work with a range of refurbished computer suppliers in New Zealand who we work with to get the best deal we can for New Zealand not-for-profits. So this includes desktops and laptops, although at the moment there seems to be a battery shortage for laptops. So we have suppliers with lots of laptops and no batteries. So we don't have many laptops available at the moment, but as soon as the new batteries come in, you can be safe in the knowledge that you're getting laptops with brand new batteries, so you won't have any battery issues when you get your laptop. These are mostly PCs, mostly Windows computers, but we do get Macs from time to time. If you get an email from us to say that Macs are available, or you see Macs go up on the website and you need Macs, they might be iMacs, they might be MacBooks, go and order them straight away, because usually we don't get very many and they're gone within a couple of hours. All of the Windows computers are refurbished by Microsoft authorized refurbishers. As a result, they're pre-installed with Windows 7 Professional and Office 2007 Home and Student. The reason why we use Windows 7 Professional is that all of the upgrades that are available, all the Windows upgrades that are available through TechSoup New Zealand require a professional or an enterprise version to upgrade from. So once you have a computer with Windows 7 Professional on it, you can order the upgrades whenever you need to upgrade to Windows 8 Professional or Windows 9 when it comes out. Office 2007 Home and Student also offers you basic functionality like Windows, Word and Excel, but doesn't include the entire Office suite. For some organisations this would be plenty, for others you might want to upgrade to Office 2013.
Just a generic question, does TechSoup have any donated archiving software available?
What kind of archiving software?
Helen, if you can probably clarify what kind of archiving software you have in mind, or what exactly do you need it for, that we can see what we have or if there's anything. And going back into the refurbished computers, what's the price range for these PCs and laptops?
Well, we've actually come to the end of the formal part of the presentation, so why don't I just show you. Oh, actually there is one more thing I want everybody to write down. The Microsoft Donation Centre. I'm going to show you this in a sec, but if you go to TechSoup.net.nz, /Microsoft_donation_center, spelt the American way. That's going to provide you with a complete list of your Microsoft donations you might have received, and it'll show you how many more that you can get in terms of your allocation, and I will show you how that works just now. So welcome to the TechSoup New Zealand website, and if we have a look at our refurbished computers program, you can see here that they range from $230 for a Core 2 Duo computer with no monitor, through to $398 for a Core 2 Duo computer with a monitor. So we like to try and offer a range of different solutions because we understand that different organisations need different things. So some organisations might have computers that are too old but the screens might be fine. So you might need to just get the box with no screen. Other organisations might need screens, so there are some refurbished Dell LCD monitors available here. And what we do when we get these offers for the refurbished computers is we go through and we make sure that they'll be able to run your basic modern programs, your basic your Office, Windows 8, all those kind of things. They're not going to be the latest and greatest gaming machine, but in the case of most not-for-profits, you just don't need that. You need the Office machines more than anything else. So hopefully that answers the question. You can see the whole range on the website and see how it all works. I will just quickly, I haven't got an example on the TechSoup website, but the Australian one looks the same. I just want to show you this Microsoft Donation Center. So if you're not sure who you're able to order from, up the top of the screen you just click on My Account, and you can see here this is a test account, but you can see here that this user is qualified for the program, qualified to receive Microsoft Bytes of Learning. You can see everybody that we're qualified there to order from. So if it says qualified, just go ahead and order. There's no problems. If it says not started, you may have to contact us. In this case, it looks like, because this is a test account, somebody's been testing something, but every organisation should qualify for refurbished computers. And when I said before about GiftWorks, GiftWorks have specific areas of giving and they donate to very small organisations. So in this case, we determine the size of an organisation based on their budget and their turnover, and in this case this organisation is too big to qualify for GiftWorks. So, Microsoft Donation Center won't work. Yep. Alright, so this is what your Microsoft Donation Center looks like. You can see here the organisation name. So this is actually Connecting Up's Donation Center. This is what we receive. We qualify for Microsoft donations as well. So Microsoft donates up to 10 different titles and up to 50 copies of each title. So an example of a title is Office 2013. You can get 50 copies of Office 2013. You can get 50 copies of Windows 8. And that's in a 2-year period. So you can see here that we first ordered on the 6th of February 2012. And so our 2-year cycle runs out on the 5th of February 2014. So, and then we can see here the rules. You can see that there are some differences in servers, which we'll look at in a sec. We have received almost $70,000 worth of Microsoft software donations. So if we'd paid retail price for the software that we've received, it would have cost us $70,000. So you can see just the contribution that Microsoft are making here. So we can see here that we have ordered from 5 title groups. So we have ordered 25 Windows Remote Desktop Client Access licenses. We have ordered 20 Small Business Server Client Access licenses, which are no longer available. But this is really easy because it now shows us we can still order 30 of them. So if we have new staff arrive and we need new licenses, we can get them. Same with Windows operating systems. We've only ordered 1 copy, so we can still order 49 additional. Now when we come to servers, there is a limit of 5 servers no matter what server you're ordering from. So in our case, we ordered a copy of Small Business Server back in 2012 when it was still available, and we've ordered a copy of SharePoint Server. So you can see here that we have received 2 server products, but we can still order 3 more. So as confusing as some of this might sound, that's what we've ordered there. So as confusing as this might sound, having this display tell you how many more you have to go makes it a lot easier to understand. And if you click on, say this one here says Windows Desktop Operating Systems, if I click on that, it takes me to the title group. So it shows me what other products are available in that title group. So we can see, all the different copies of Windows are included in that title group. So I can order up to 50 licenses, which are a combination of all of these different licenses. So that's going to help you a lot in managing your Microsoft donations. Do I have any questions about that?
Yeah, going back to the archiving, so what Helen is saying is they're thinking of, say, scanning old documents to maintain their archives of past programs, people involved, and establish referencing system from those documents. So is there anything like that, any kind of software, if, say, they want to see when they last perform a certain work, this system will be able to tell them? So. Thinking that's why there's no sound.
Yeah, the sound of the gears doesn't really carry over a microphone. If it's for old records, so you can see when you've done work and things like that, then you probably need to consider migrating to something like Dynamics, or something that will allow you to track user histories and things like that. In terms of the actual scanning in of the documents, not really, although most scanners would come with something these days. Just trying to think of what the best solution would be. What I might get you to do is, if you can email me at rj@techsoup.net.nz, I will follow that one up for you, and I'll have a bit of a think about it. There are a few different ways of doing that, and I might need to grab a bit more information.
Currently, someone's using OpenOffice. Is there any issues to upgrade, and what product should be used as a suggestion?
To upgrade from OpenOffice, Office 2013 to me. If I was going to use an open source Office solution, OpenOffice is kind of the third option now. LibreOffice is a lot better than OpenOffice these days. But I find in general the interface design and the feature set of the Microsoft products is worth paying the extra for, especially at charity pricing. Well, through the donations program, I mean, the admin fee for a copy of Office, Office 2013 standard is $29. To me, the value that you'd get out of that compared to a free copy of OpenOffice is a lot more significant. In general, Microsoft Office can open the documents that you created with OpenOffice, but there may need to be a period of adjustment because you may need to save any files that you've got saved in OpenOffice's specific format back into a Microsoft format, which OpenOffice can definitely do. So yeah, I have used OpenOffice and I have used all of those things, but at the end of the day, I think that Microsoft Office is just a more polished product, and I would definitely be recommending that to all organisations.
What about Citrix, like GoToMeeting, etc.? Some people represent national and not-for-profits or volunteers, but still to register as a charity, and GoToMeeting would be really useful to them. And is it possible to get them through to TechSoup without charity registration?
Absolutely. The Citrix program works a little bit different to some programs. So you can see here Citrix discount their GoToMeeting, their GoToMyPC, and GoToTraining. So it's a one-year subscription. If you're a national organisation and you want to have web conferencing, then GoToMeeting is probably the best tool for you, but have a look at all of them and see which works for you. Now the way these work is that you pay us an admin fee of what's listed there on that website, so $55 for a year for GoToMeeting, and then you pay Citrix the same amount again when you complete your registration. And I think that that works out to about 10 or 20% of retail price in total. It's a different way of doing it, but we have double checked and the savings are still there. One of the main things with the Citrix platform though is we use it for all of our webinars, and we found it really reliable, and it's really good at automatically scaling bandwidth. So if you have offices all over the country, you might have an office that's in a bad internet area. They might have a lower speed internet. They can still participate in your meetings. And there's also the failover of the phone system, so they can participate in using a phone line rather than using the internet.
A question on Microsoft Access. Does this have an email feature so you can email from the database, or is there another software that they need to be able to do that?
I'm pretty sure you can include that, but Microsoft Access is a more simple version of a database. Depending on what you are trying to do, you may be better off looking at a different program that uses an SQL database. So Microsoft do donate SQL Server through the donations program. But there are also all kinds of different plugins available on the internet to make Microsoft Access to all kinds of amazing things. So I would have a look into that. If you do an email search, a web search for Access email send or something like that, you should be able to find an answer, or just send me an email and I'll chase that up for you.
Back to Citrix. On Citrix, can you show live actions or some like a workshop going on or anything like that? Just to let you know that the platform that you all are using here is a Citrix platform. So I might be able to answer that, and Ryan can complement in addition, but Citrix is mainly used for, I guess, slide sharing and screen sharing and audio stuff. We have tried sharing videos, and that didn't really work quite well because of it just lags, and it doesn't, it doesn't seem to be working quite well. But in terms of live video, I don't think there's any feature for that on Citrix. Is there? I don't know, Ryan can help on that.
Yeah. If you're using GoToMeeting, you can definitely share webcams, and we have done the webcam sharing when we run meetings with our New Zealand partners. We do that quite often, and it's quite good to be able to see people's faces and be a bit more connected to people. If you want to do basic kind of workshops and things amongst, you might have 10 staff that want to be involved in a workshop, then you can just set up a normal webcam and do it that way. There are more advanced setups that you can do, but the learning curve is a lot steeper. So GoToMeeting with a webcam would probably suit organisations in probably 90% of cases.
We have one last question, which is a little bit quite specific. It's basically someone who has purchased, say, a Microsoft Office license for 3 laptops, and it was asking for a key for the license, and it only says license 1 out of 50. What happened to the other 2? And is the price for one laptop only, or can it be loaded up to 50 times?
When I said before about the example of the volunteer running the software on the volunteers, when you uninstall that you install that software on that laptop, and that's recorded by Microsoft as an installation attempt. And then when you uninstall it, you can install it on another computer. Now, when you go into the Volume License Center, if your Volume License Center is telling you 1 of 50, then what that's saying is that you have one installation attempt. You've only tried to install that software once. So if you have 3 copies of Office, then you have 50 installation attempts for those 3 copies. So that does mean that you can remove them from one computer and install them on another. So it doesn't mean that you only got 1 license. It just means because they're volume licenses, you only get the 1 key, and then you get the installation attempts. Once you've got your first donation, you've registered on the Volume License Center, you can get access to all your keys and all of your software through there. So I recommend you spend some time having a look at that, and you can get your keys off there and you can just install from there.
That's basically the last question that we have. We still have a little bit of time if anyone else has any particular question about the program.
Cool. So now that we've got through those questions, the last thing that I wanted to do here is we had some people when they were registering for the webinar just ask how do I place an order? It's quite easy. It's really like using any other shopping cart type system. So once you've registered for the program, you've received an email, you've been told that you qualify, all those kind of things. So you're all ready to go. You should have a login. You should have put in your own registration login details when you registered. If you don't remember what they are, I will show you that in just a second. But at this stage, I'm logged in with the test account that I showed you the details of before. So if I go to my account, like I showed you before, I can see here's the contact information and here's what I'm qualified to order. So what I really want to order is I really want to order a copy of Office. So there's a few different ways of navigating the website. We've tried to respond to as much feedback as we can get. So I can go products, software, and then I can see Office and productivity, or I can go to donation partners and I can go over to Microsoft. So I'm going to do that way. So you can see this is the entire Microsoft range that's available through TechSoup. So there's a lot. If I want to skip, I can go and use my find tool. I can go to 2013, Exchange Server. Or I can just scroll down. So there's a range of different ways that you can navigate all of this. I can go to the next page. There we go. So there's Office. Or you can use the search function at the top of the page as well. So if I want to order Microsoft Professional Plus, here we go. It's $39, the admin fee. No problems. Well, I have 10 staff in my organisation, so you need to order, when it says quantity, you need to order 1 license per computer that you want to install it on. So if you have 10 computers, then you need to order 10 copies. So I've got 10, and I want to add that to the cart. So that's been added to my shopping cart, and I can see it over here. So much like any other e-commerce type website, really. So now what I might do is I might get some copies of Windows 8. So if I go software and I go to operating systems, so I might just upgrade all my computers just so that we're all on the same version. I'm sick of dealing with Christine and her copy of Office 2010. I just want to make sure that she's got all of our up-to-date software. Now you can get 32-bit and 64-bit version of Windows. In general, my rule of thumb is if you're using a computer with less than 4 gigabytes of RAM, it doesn't really matter which version you order. If you're dealing with if you've got a computer with more than 4 gigabytes of RAM, then I'd always recommend this. Well, you have to get the 64-bit version. So I'm going to order the 64-bit, and I'm going to order another 10 copies of that. So that's been added to my cart as well. So that's pretty much all I need today. So you can see down here, I can go to my cart. I can click on this link over here in the user menu, or I can go ready to check out. I might just review my cart first. Okay, well that's what I thought I'd put in the cart. I can remove products now if I feel the need, or I might decide, well, I only actually need 9 copies of Office. So I change the quantity and click Update Cart, and that's been updated. So now I'm going to check out. So now I'm presented with the qualification screen. So this explains to me some of the rules that I was discussing before in terms of Microsoft donations, and gives me a link to my Microsoft Donation Center. So I can see what I've requested, my current cycle, and things like that. Now if I load my Microsoft Donation Center, because this is a test account, you can see I haven't ordered anything. So my 2-year cycle begins once I've actually ordered something Microsoft. I have 10 more title groups because I haven't ordered anything, and I've received $0 worth of donations. Great, so there's no reason why I can't order this software. And now the only thing I have to do is I have to agree that my organisation is non-exclusionary and non-discriminatory. So this means that we don't exclude segments of the population. We don't discriminate in terms of race, colour, sex, anything like that. One thing that we do get quite a lot is questions about organisations that might deal with, say, one certain group of people. They might concentrate all of their efforts on, say, vision impaired people. You're not really being discriminatory here. You're focusing all your energy on people with vision impairment. You would be discriminatory if you say you discriminated against people with a vision impairment from a certain suburb, or people with vision impairment that are a certain race or a certain sex. Having a core focus in a specific area is different to discriminating against people within that sector. Okay, so I can tick that box. We don't discriminate here, and I can verify my order. And now there's 2 ways of paying. So I can pay via check, or I can pay via PayPal or credit card. Now it's important to note that if you pay via credit card, the payment is processed by PayPal, but you don't have to sign up for PayPal to do it. So I'm just going to choose check today, but you can pay via credit card using PayPal. So this is my final step. It'll be emailed to PC Connecting Up. PC is Pancash, and he's our tech manager. It'll be shipped to that address there, and there's our order. So I'll place that order. So that's confirmed that my order has been placed, and I will get an email, or Pancash will get an email in this case, telling him what I've ordered, and containing an invoice with instructions for payment. Now, because I've chosen to pay by check, I do need to send that check to the Connecting Up office in Australia, and we finalise your payment once we've received that check. For that reason, it is a lot quicker to use a credit card, whether that's an organisation credit card or a personal credit card that's reimbursed. That doesn't matter. It is also possible to pay via bank transfer through PayPal, or you can contact us for the bank transfer information. But that tells me my order's done, and all I have to do now is I have to send a check off and my order is done. So hopefully that answers any questions that people might have had about placing orders on the website. If anybody has any more questions, then let me know.
What is the average supply time once the order has been placed?
Once the order's been paid for, it depends on which supplier you order from. From Microsoft, we say, we like to say 14 days to receive the license email, but quite often it's substantially quicker than that. Most people will receive it within 7 days. You'll receive an email with your key information. You can go and register your keys on the Volume License Service Center, which is in that email. And you can also download the installers for the software that you've ordered from the Volume License Center. Your discs take up to 28 days from when you've paid for your order. But again, up to 28 days, it's usually a 7 to 14 day turnaround. We like to kind of overestimate that a little bit. But these days we have a lot of organisations that never even use their discs because they can download the software as soon as the keys come through.
We don't have any other question on placing order. Just one last question about website. Someone needs a website to build a website, I assume. Is there anything from TechSoup that can help with that?
Sadly, Microsoft have just discontinued their expression range, so not at this stage. However, if you're looking at building a new website, I recommend having a look into content management systems, because they can save you a lot of headaches in the long run in terms of having other people edit content and work on that. If you go to the Connecting Up YouTube channel, which Christine will send you in a link after this webinar, that has some great webinars that we ran last year on all of the big content management systems, so WordPress, Joomla and Drupal. Drupal is the system we use for our website, and that'll give you a bit of a breakdown on what they can do and how to set them up, and give you some better advice on that.
Well, we don't seem to have any more questions. We are basically at the end of the webinar. Well, thank you very much for everyone who has attended and submitted questions. I hope that has been useful for you and has helped you understand a bit better about the program, how you can order the kind of products available. There are some other products that we obviously didn't have time to go through, so if you are interested, just go to the TechSoup.net.nz website and have a look at all the range that we have, and the prices and everything. Information in there should be on there. And if you have any other questions about the program or the products, you can contact the customer support team, or you can contact the lovely Ryan who has done the webinar. Other than that, well, thank you very much for attending, and we will see you at the next webinar, hopefully. Have a good afternoon. Bye.